Hello and a very good morning. So it is, I'll say bright and early, it is very early this morning and I find myself all the way down in Cornwall and we are now back at Newquay railway station. So if you remember last time, over a year ago, it's about 2 years ago now, I explored the old line from here over to Perranporth and I spoke about the old line there. However, we are going to be actually on the 150 today. It's going to be quite a bumper day, so there are going to be 3 episodes coming out from my adventure today. So the first one is going to take me along the Atlantic coastline, which is from here at Newquay over to Parr, and then it's a journey over to Liskeard as we do the Lou Valley line, obviously from Liskeard to Lou. And then after that, it is a trip over to Bodmin Parkway where myself and my dad will explore the Bodmin and Wentford Railway, something that we've always wanted to do, so at long last we are finally about to do it. But nonetheless, the train departs in about 10 minutes, so we'll get a couple of shots of the train in the station, albeit the light isn't as bright as it could be at this time of day. But nonetheless, let's get on with it and enjoy the start of a very Cornish adventure. So welcome back to Down the Line. It seems quite a contrast, doesn't it? Just a few weeks ago we were up over exploring the Furnace Line, Ravenglass, etc. like that, and we're all the way down the other end of the country. But nonetheless, I've always wanted to do this line, so just about to jump on board. So while I do that and we get ready to set off, let's take you through the Atlantic coastline with a few facts and figures. So enjoy.
The Atlantic coastline is a 20-mile branch line that runs from the English Channel at Parr to the Atlantic Ocean at Newquay. The line opened to passengers in 1876, although there was no connection to Parr until 1892. The current line has trains running every 2 hours from each station and crosses multiple stations, although not all of them are intermediate.
And there's Dad.
We begin our journey just as the sun starts to rise, and we immediately head over an impressive piece of Cornish architecture, which is the Trennis Viaduct, which opened in 1874 and is unsurprisingly Grade 2 listed. The current one you see today did replace an old timber viaduct and has stood the tests of time. A short while later, we reach our first calling point of the day, which is Quintrell Downs. This station opened in 1911 and is the only intermediate station on the line to not be a request stop. All trains must also stop here so that the crossing can be activated. We then move along towards our second stop, but it was great to see the Cornish countryside as the sun came up for the morning. We then gently rolled into the second stop at St Column Road, and even though this station opened in 1876, the original name for this station was Halloon, but it was renamed after only 2 years. It is hard to imagine that this line was once a horse-works line, which has connections to the mining dating back to 1849. Cornwall also has very rich histories with the railways. However, over the course of the 20th century, it saw a very steep decline, mainly in relation to the beaching cuts. our third station stop is Roach, and just like the previous station, it was renamed in 1904 after it was previously called Victoria. There used to be a passing loop here to accommodate holiday trains, but that was until 1965 when this loop closed along with its goods yard. Bugle is next along this line, and in its heyday there was another line and a platform. It extended on towards the Carbish branch over towards Carbish Bay Station. However, this closed in August of 1989, leaving just a single track and platform through the station. How times have changed. Shortly after Bugle, we stop at Goombarrow Junction signal box, which is an entry point to the China Clay Mine. In Cornwall, there are several China Clay branches stretching across the county. It is also nice in the sidings to come across a Class 66, which is something that you don't often see along this line, so something different is always worth seeing. We now venture into our penultimate station, which is Luxeulian, and like the others, its origins dates back to mining. The station here also had a goods yard and a siding which served another clay mine, although both of these, unsurprisingly, are now closed. As we head nearer to Parr, we came across a well-known site along this line, which is St Blaise. There has been a depot here since 1874 and was built complete with workshops and a roundhouse. The first ever diesel locomotive to be allocated here was in 1960, and the last steam locomotive that ran here was only 2 years later in 1962. The site is now run by DB Cargo, and to this day you can still see locomotives and wagons across this site, and even the turntable is in use for steam-hauled rail tours during the summer periods. After a great journey between the two coasts of Cornwall, we finally reach the end of the line at Parr Railway Station. This now brings us 281 miles from the Great Western Railway mainline terminus of London Paddington. The station at Parr opened in 1859, and even though it is situated on a main line, the station was deemed too small to warrant having a station master. There was also an experimental freight terminal opened here, however, that didn't last long and only lasted a couple of years in operation. All in all, this has been a brilliant line to explore, and it is about time that both myself and my dad have finally completed this railway line. This has been an aim of ours ever since I was a young child. So my recommendation to you is that make sure you go down the line, no pun intended, and explore the Atlantic coastline.
So then, about a 50 odd minute journey from Newquay to Parr, all done. And I have to say, in terms of the line, there's not much to it. I mean, most of the stations are one platforms, apart from here and Newquay. A few of them as well are request stops. I think we stopped everyone just because of the time in the morning. And all in all, I counted probably around 10 people that got on the train on that line. So even though the first service of the day, peak time in the middle of the week, it wasn't busy at all, but then there's more people stood at the platform here at Par than there was on the entire journey to here. But nonetheless, so Par is a very, very nice station. I've only been through here once when I got the train down to Truro many years ago. I was a lot younger. But yeah, so just before, you may have noticed there was a sidings that we went past with the 66, but then also as well on the approach to here, we went past St Blazey's signal box where we had to stop, and the token was passed on to the signaller. As well, we can see there was another 66 in with the depot. So my dad was telling me that should be where the old EWS/DB depot is. It looks like it's still operational with, you know, a 66 and some wagons being there. Obviously the brand is Imerys, so, and there was some interesting wagons with DB on it that I haven't seen before, so I'm gonna have some investigation on that. But nonetheless, it's been a fantastic little line. The only built up bit really was here on the approach to Par. But obviously being connecting to the main line here, obviously down Penzance, London, Paddington, you can see why it does build up. But nonetheless, thank you very, very much for watching. So next is about a 40-minute wait here, and then myself and my dad, we're going to get the train from here at Par to Liskeard, where we are then going to connect on with the Lou Valley line. So don't go anywhere, and well, you're going to have to probably wait a week for the next episode. Well, you will have to wait a week, but nonetheless, thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you at Liskeard in the next episode of Down the Line. See you then.